So it's been quite the morning this morning trying to get connected with Ella. As you can tell, we're delayed, but in life, aren't we always a little bit delayed here and there? And that's just the way it goes. So Ella, I thank you for sticking with through all this chaos to connect.
Yeah.
And wow, here we go. So I'd like to introduce you all. If you don't know Ella, Ella Loszczyk is amazing and has been a mentor to me over the last. I actually just met you through online just the last couple of years, and I've watched everything that you do, and you're amazing. Ella has Nail Experts Academy, Nail Experts Club, along with Masterclass, and actually one's getting ready to open now. She's the author of Nail Shapes and Structures and Win the Nail Game.
Yeah.
And she's a competitor and a judge and just a great person all on your own. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you is when did you start your career as a nail tech?
That was actually in 2006. And first and foremost, thank you, Amy, so much for having me here. I'm really honored. Because you're a lovely person too. So it started all in 2006 when I had 2005 when I had my nails done for my wedding. And back then I kind of knew that in some point we will be moving to another country. So I was like, I'm a strong believer that, you can never learn too much. So I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to learn how to do it because you never know when I'm going to need it. And that's exactly what I did. And obviously, having then done for my wedding, I really liked what she was doing. And I thought, this is so easy, So I was just like, yeah, just buy a bunch of products, try it on yourself. But the moment when I filed my mom's nails, like really, really badly, I was like, oops, I actually have to go and do it and learn it properly, from professionals. Hi, girls. So then I did my first course, but unfortunately, it wasn't the best one, and the educator was more interested in herself rather than really teaching me. So I had really, really bad experience, but really this moment, I really decided that one day I'll be teaching others and I will never do the same thing as she did to me, because I know when you're going to learn something new, that's all your hopes and all your dreams, and you're just so excited about this that you're doing it. And then if someone's not really paying attention, if for some people it's just all about the money, not really sharing their passion and knowledge, it shouldn't be this way. So yeah, this is what I made the decision that I'll be teaching people one day, and I will never do the same thing as I had. And this is how it started. After that, of course, I had plenty other foundation courses as well. But like I said, I'm a strong believer in learning. So I've been always trying to go at least 2, 3, sometimes 4 training courses a year, because there's always something learned. And it's like a fashion industry, really. It changes so quickly that if you've had training done years ago, the information may not be relevant, or maybe just that you probably, and for sure there are ways to do it differently or easier. And I love easier things. I don't complicated things, because even if they are complicated, I like to make them simple because it's easier to digest. So and this is how I started. So from having my nails done for my wedding and then taking it from there.
It's so good that you saw that there was a need for change in the industry. I can't tell you or express enough how much I really wish that it could become a universal rules and regulations on our education. Continuing education is very important. So I went to school in 1991, so it's been 25 years, and there was not a nail-only program. I actually just had to set in on the nail theory parts that the cosmetologists were doing, and then just kind of learn from there. And it was only because of the continuing education that I got directly from the acrylic companies and the gel companies and stuff like that I got to continue education. At one point I was going to become an instructor, but the rules were still old, where I was going to have to go back to school and get a cosmetology. So I was going to have to learn how to do hair. So that was another year, and then another year to become an instructor so that I could teach nails.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so frustrated with that. And I've actually helped sign bills and stuff for it. And they changed the law finally about a year, maybe 2 years ago. Now anybody can become an instructor. And even if you have no history in nails at all, you can become an instructor. And I didn't like that either. So, I mean, I can't say they're trying to change. They're just not in the direction that I see that they need to be in. So I do wish that there was some universal just one way of teaching us all. But it's groups like this that help us pull together and learn the extra steps. And it's texts like you that go to the extra step and say, you know what, something has to be done about this, and do the continuing education, and then write 2 books about it.
Yes. Yes, actually, if someone told me like a couple of years ago that I'm going to be writing books, I'd be like, no.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
here I am, two
So
months later.
yeah, so on a personal note, you're a mom of how many kids?
I've got two. I've got a girl and a boy, 10 and 5.
Oh my goodness. And a wife, and an author, and you travel doing work. How do you juggle all of this?
I was laughing too, like, do I? Well, the thing is, like, it's obviously it's not easy because I'm working with my husband as well, and obviously, like, having like a partnership relationship and then business relationship. Sometimes, like, if something's not working in one end, obviously is being transferred to another end, and sometimes it's like, in a business relationship you can't have like emotional stuff taken into it. So it's not easy. It's never been easy, but eventually it took us a long time, and it took us a couple of years really just to learn how to work together, because we are two different people. I'm more like a doer, and I like things to be done fast. He's more like a thinker and a planner. So both of us together, we are actually unbelievable, like, partnership, and we are a very, very good team. However, we had to really work and learn how to work together and not to kill each other. Because sometimes it was really, really hard. And obviously having children as well, they want your attention, and obviously you want to spend time with them because they're growing so fast. So the majority of work, to be honest, it's we are doing it either where they're at school or you are working nights. And this is how we have the things done. And sometimes like the videos or something, we just like set up everything, and we put the kids to bed, and then this is when we start working. But again, I think like it's not all the time, of course, but when there are things that has to be done, and this is how we do it. And obviously, you just do what you have to do until you can do what you want to do. So I love it. I love it. I wouldn't change it for anything else. And what I do, it gives me enormous amount of satisfaction, and I wouldn't change it for anything else. So to really balance the things, I think for me, because I'm also kind of like, a workaholic a little bit. I love my work. And that's why, like, when I'm working, I do feel I'm working. So that's why it's kind of like, hard to disconnect, because it's just like, it gives you so much pleasure. But it's actually my husband, like, he's just like, no, now slow down. You need to stop. Now it's family time. Don't talk to me about work, just family. And this is when we're just taking break. And okay, so now we are doing this together. That's why we are trying to go on holidays together, like, like once or twice a year. Or like, when the kids are out of school, we just go to like soft plays, playgrounds. Just we're trying to do as many things as possible to do together, because we will never get this time back. So yeah, I think it's not easy. It's definitely not easy, but we are trying our best. I'm not really sure, like, how someone else would judge this, but I think as long as you're trying, then that all what matters. How do you do
Yeah.
that? How do you find the balance?
Well, I'm the same. So I've had my salon for 25 years, but with that, I did take a break from everything else, no traveling to compete and all of that. So I didn't take a break from the industry, though. I actually focused on specializing one area and then art, and building my salon up to be a good income to help support my family. But I'm like you, I have a very supportive family. I have a very supportive husband, and that's what allows you to go the next step. My daughter is getting ready to graduate. My son is in college now. So now I'm like, what do I do with all this extra time? So I started these Tech Talk Lives and just started kind of promoting myself a little bit out there. But you know what? I could not find a good balance, and social media wasn't what it is now. And it's changing. I mean, just like what we experience today, being able to go live in these groups, it's changing constantly. So then we're learning about that to be able to do this. And so having a supportive family so that you can focus on that. My husband is like yours. He'll come in and say, well, did you see this, that you can do this now? And I'm like, yeah. And so I think it is that. And I can say I went through a time in my life that I did not have that kind of support, and I just had to focus back on me and on my passion. And so you'll find the time. If you're passionate about it, I really think you'll find the time and you'll succeed in it because you're just following your heart. It just might be the wrong time. Sometimes in your life, you just might have to wait a year, get something else kind of settled. Like for me, it was get my kids. My daughter was actually just here watching us. So it's kind of getting the kids at an area too where they understand your career. Because if not, they just think, oh, you just do fingernails. Like you're on the computer all the time, mom. Well, I'm working. Uh-huh. So
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. But I'm also, I must admit, I'm a strong believer into this, that whenever you want something, you will make it happen. And then, like, sometimes I really have to ask myself, because sometimes, like, you can't be bothered to do something. But then I always ask myself, is it like, because I really don't want to, or is it my excuse? And very often it is my excuse. So I'm just like, okay, just put it on the side and just do it, And the sooner you start doing it, then it's happening. And like you said, yes, absolutely, support from your family is absolutely incredible and it's invaluable, because without it, it's like you wouldn't be able to do anything by yourself only. So I agree.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm not able to see if there's any questions coming up. So on your end, if you see any questions coming up, just go ahead and interrupt me and continue on.
I can just, Louise said hi from Ireland.
Hi, Louise. Oh, she's such a doll too.
And Sandra said about the technology. Yes, technology is like a love-hate relationship with technology, honestly. Without it, we would be lost. With it, we are lost sometimes too.
Yeah.
But absolutely, yes. So I can't see any other questions, but
So I guess with the topic of technology, one thing about nails, we keep saying, oh, it's ever changing and stuff like that, but really it's still a hands-on career. So therefore our technology, I guess, is knowing our product control and our consistency with that. Speaking of the word consistency, I've done some of your free live workshops and you can't stress consistency enough. So touch base a little bit about why is that your strong word?
I love it. If I could, I would have like really typed it on every single thing I've got in my house. Because with consistency, everything is what it's all about. And it doesn't matter if we are talking about nails or if we are talking about social media or if we're talking about business or marketing or whatever. Whatever you do, you have to be consistent in everything. And for example, the competitions, this is when it really, really gave me this kind of hook and I become obsessed about being consistent. That's the competition, because in a competition, many people think they will go out there and they will do like, the deepest smile line or the deepest C curve, and this is what will make them win, which is not true. The winning set of nails is the consistent one with less mistakes than others. So that means that the length is the same, that the smile lines are the same. So the curvature of the smile lines, the sharpness of the smile lines, the corners of the smile lines, everything needs to be the same. It's basically like you're trying to recreate the same nail over and over and over again. So that's the consistency, and competing myself. That and working on consistency, because obviously when you're preparing, you want to win, obviously. So you're working on consistency, and then that really reflects on your salon work, because once you get that, and once you know what you're working for and what you're trying to achieve, you can't change it, and you're taking it with you onto clients, and then clients see that and they really like it, and then if, for example, if you've got slightly worse day, they was like, oh, it's not that consistent today. So yes, you have to be quite careful with that. But that's why I love the word consistency, and because this is what it's all about. Is to, and not perfect, don't get me wrong, I hate word perfect. Perfect doesn't exist in my dictionary, but consistent, yes. And you have to be striving for perfection, which again, for me, it's a journey. It's not like, end point, because once you reach that, then like, what's then? There's nothing more to go for. So you're always trying to push yourself, and you're always trying to do better than you did yesterday, with consistency. So consistently keep pushing yourself. Yeah.
I love it. And every time that I hear you speak and now being able to be live with you, you're such an inspiration. And the way that you can word things makes it easy. And like what we talked earlier, we like things that are easy. And so it's heartfelt. And so speaking of competitions, so when did you start competing in your career?
I started in 2009, and this is actually was my first competition. That was Scottish Championships, and I've never competed before, so I wasn't stupid enough to go out there and just to do it. So I went and I did. I traveled back to Poland, and this is when I had my competition training, and then I think it was like 3 months before the actual competition, and I did that, and then I went there. I was competing in the sculpting category and salon nail art, and I actually won it. I won the first and second place. And I couldn't believe, because I was against so many great nail technicians, and I was like, oh my God, this is insane, this is crazy. And then after that I was hooked. I must admit, I absolutely fell in love, and the adrenaline rush. Obviously, you're so stressed on the competition day. I was shaking like a leaf and everything, but it's pushing yourself to get more, to achieve more, and really it might seem cheesy, but this is how it is. You're not competing against anyone else. You're always competing against yourself and time. Time is not your friend that time. So and within the next 2 years, I won over 20 categories, and then this is when I was asked to start judging. So because I started judging, I had so many students coming to me for the competition training, and then they were competing in the same categories as I used to. So for me, I kind of decided that, okay, just because I'm judging now and I'm teaching those people, for me, it would feel very, very awkward to compete against them. So I just decided to take a step back, and now, okay, so now this is my time to be a judge, not a competitor anymore. So and I'm trying to stick to it, and I think it's going fine. And for me, seeing people like my students, when they go on the stage, it's literally they make me cry, and I'm just like, this is the proudest moment ever, seeing my students winning. This is because their success is my success, and there's nothing better than that. Honestly.
Oh, that's wonderful. And that was one of the questions I was going to ask you, is as how you became a judge. And so it's interesting that it just kind of naturally fell into place for you. But I can understand now the desire to want to compete. And we know with ever-changing industry and maybe new competition, it's like, ooh, yeah. Oh, that's fun.
It's
So
fantastic.
as a judge,
Just one more word, with the competition, I think every single nail technician should go and do it. And even not really to go and planning to win. It's fantastic when you win, but even if not, you will see you will never ever be the same person after that, because you will push every single boundary possible, and it will make you a better person and a better nail tech. So you should really go and do it. Just try. It's worth it.
yeah. In one of my workshops, I actually just talked about, if you go and compete and right from the bang, you are the winner, you're always chasing that win. And so when you're competing and you're not the winner, you can always see your room for improvement, and you can watch yourself kind of grow through that. So in 1998, I was in Nails Magazine as a world's top tech. I made the top 5, and I thought I had it made. I thought, this is it. I'm doing so well. And I've always been chasing that same win again. But I've never been discouraged by it. I've always been able to see the growth along the way. I have lots and lots of plaques and certificates and trophies, but never that big win that I've always wanted. And what I've realized is there's so many different well, internationally, there's so many different techniques that we use and so many different products that that I'm just learning even more. And so I'm still out there competing as well. And so chasing the win is fun. I enjoy it, and I love the networking along the way and what I learn. So
It's brilliant.
I
For me, like when I won, like, you know, the Scottish championships, and then I become a champion, like UK nail champion. So that's for me, like, you know, I felt like, oh my goodness, like I achieved even more than I was actually, like, you know, ever hoping to achieve. But then, like, you know, like you said, like even the competition, like standards changing so much, and it's not even like, you know, from a competition to a competition, but from country to country as well. It's amazing. And for example, like, you know, last year I was judging Nail Olympia in London, and this is like one of the highest standards, like, you know, in Europe, because the reputation of this competition is just so great. And again, you know, even though like the reputation is such high, I would still, like, you know, if you want to go and do the competition, go and do it. Honestly, don't be discouraged that, oh, like, you know, there are so many great people there. Don't care about that. Just go and do it, really, just because, like I said, you are competing against yourself. Honestly, be smart, go and do your training. Don't go, like, you know, just from the salon and, oh, I'm going to compete, you know, like the day after. No, just get yourself ready, like really, really prepared, and then go and do it. It's worth it. And then like now it's when I was, like, you know, competing, we had to do both hands, and I think it's still, like, you know, in some competitions you still have to do both hands. But for example, now like the Nail Olympia, it's changed so much, like you have to do one hand only. Again, I believe you've got like 75 minutes to do so. But again, there is a time pressure, and there is, like, you know, you have to fit in that amount of time, and but it's worth it. Honestly, it's worth it. And then obviously, I believe like the real beginning of my career, this is when I started competing, and this is when I started, like, you know, having more and more and more publicity because of that. So you never know where this is going to take you, honestly. Just go and
Yes, absolutely. And you know, when you compete at the very end, you get your judges' sheets and they go into detail. And I've been able to meet with some of the judges as well. I have learned so much from them. And so that's probably my favorite part at the end, is for me to know that, okay, I did my best for this. Due to the pressure and the surroundings and everything, I did my best for that. Of course, in the salon, we'll be like, this was so easy in the salon, but pressure can make a world of difference. But when I get my judge sheet at the end and I go through and talk with the judges, that that right there is so worth it. And talking with some of the other competitors and stuff like that as well, and that networking, and definitely go
yeah.
and try.
It's invaluable, the score sheet is, honestly, because sometimes you might be thinking like, oh, you know, this area I'm just so good at it, but you might be surprised. You might be even, like, you know, be given less points in this for this area and more for another. It's like, ooh, how's that happen? Obviously, like, you know, the standard is set and is based on the day, so it's not like one general standard, because obviously, like, you know, like talking about judging, we go there and like we have like a flash, so we can see kind of standards, and this is the moment we set the standard of the competition. So it's not done prior to it or anything like that. And but yeah, definitely go and do it. It's worth it, honestly.
Yes, and on YouTube, there's actually a lot of videos from judges that talk about what they look for, how they measure, you know, the nail to make sure that they're even, how they do the secrets behind the scenes. And so it's worth it to get all the knowledge that you can before you go as well, and then seek out some advice, because it can be overwhelming.
I would
So
say
in your,
the
yeah,
training
so
valuable.
yeah. So another thing that you talk about a lot in your workshops and your masterclass intros and stuff is the word aha. And you actually give lots of demos and examples of why you get these aha moments. So throughout your career, okay, so I know with me, I kid you not, it's like every year there's one thing that just clicks, and it would be the aha moment. It's like, why didn't I think about that before? This is so much easier. Why didn't I change to this? Because I didn't want to invest in one more thing. And so these aha moments come up continuously in our career. So do you have any aha moments that came up through your career?
Absolutely. I think like I've got them all the time, but I think like one of the biggest moments that actually was when I realized that being good at nails is not good enough to be successful. And what I mean by that, it really made me to realize that you need both things. You need to have skills, and you have to also know how to sell your skills. And if you don't have those both things, then of course, you may be successful somehow, but I found it actually the hard way, because I had all this success, I had all these competitions and everything happening, yet still, like, I had the client base. However, it wasn't like, the type of base I wanted to have. And I was like, what is going on? What am I missing? And that was the moment when I really realized, like, that without the proper marketing, and without really knowing how to attract people and how to sell yourself to those clients, this is when the real success happens, honestly, in my opinion. And that was my biggest moment, because when I started, like, kind of not really maybe like mastering the marketing, but really like getting more and more into it, and really like, knowing the secrets of it, what is really all about, my business changed so much. Like, honestly, I never looked back. So now I love marketing, and I love, like, and for me, just having this experience myself, for me, it's kind of like a mission, really, to kind of open eyes of nail techs, and just to show them, like, just, of course, go and learn your skills, but at the same time, you should be learning how to sell your skills, because it's just so important. And it makes me really sad seeing people, like, oh, I've been doing nails for like a year, and now I'm still struggling. I can't get clients in, or in a year I've got only 2 people in. It's so heartbreaking, and especially for those people, because I know how it is. You feel like you keep banging your head on the wall, and you somehow can't break this wall, and it's so annoying and it's so frustrating, especially if you really have good skills and you know how to do good stats. So I think that was, for now, that was the biggest aha moment I've had. Like, you really need those 2 things, and to be really successful, they both have to come together. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
my moment.
So I started my career in a very big town, and nails were a hit. I mean, but there wasn't even pink and white yet. It was still just a natural yellowy opaque color for acrylic. And so you have to continue to change as the industry grows. It doesn't mean that you have to master all the products out there. You just find what is your specialty and master that, and then move on. And I can't stress enough how important it is to have a portfolio. Take pictures of all of your work. Whether you're an Instagrammer or a Facebook, whatever it is, find one and master that as well in the social media, and create your profile. And then when you do meet people, you can share that profile and show before and afters. I call it a before, after, and after. So I take a picture of their nails when they first come to me, and then after in that same appointment, and then my clients go 4 weeks, so then I take another picture of them 4 weeks later. And then in that, I will put a description. These nails took muscles off of a boat, went fishing, went hunting, typed, cleaned house, and whatever, like give a description of like 5 things that those nails did in those 4 weeks. And then people go, oh, and then I put my price out there. I'm honest. And my prices are all inclusive. I don't have an a la carte system. I do have a tiered system that depending on what kind of art that they're doing, but so I think it's important to have that profile to be able to showcase all the work that you can do. Even if you just specialize in natural nail, it's okay. Have a profile or a portfolio that just shows your before and afters of how much you can transform hands and feet. And it might even take months for you to transform it to where you're happy with it. But if you have pictures of your progress along the way, people will relate to that and know that it's not an instant fix. They're not going to go from the worst nail biters of their nails to having stilettos. They'll have that instantly, but truly the best work of that is when they come back in for that first fill, and then you're really able to use their nail and kind of mold it in and get all the inflammation gone. And so let him know it takes time, but in your portfolio you can showcase that. And so I think a lot of times when people struggle with building a clientele, I'll ask them, where's your portfolio? Where's your business cards? Where's your basics for that? And they're like, oh, I just put it on my Facebook page. That's not going to get it. And so you're really going to have to step back and go back to the basics of creating your brand, creating who you are, and then continuing on from there. Speaking of branding, you talk about branding a lot and getting your consistency of your branding there. Do you have anything to add about branding yourself?
Well, it's basically like, branding is everything you're doing. And because in reality, people who don't know you, like, if they're not in like, personal zone, if they're not your close friends, people out there will only know that much as you share with them. So you just need to keep like, giving the message you want people to hear. And I'm not saying like, just try to be someone different than you really are, because people will know it. They're not stupid, they will just catch you like in a blink. But just really like, if you have even like, things, for example, let's say Scratch magazine. And I don't want to talk about anyone, but this is just, I think this is just an example. We are nail technicians, right? And now like on the Scratch magazine, there was this huge long nails. And obviously, if you're a nail technician, you know right away that those nails are not on for a daily use nails. They are just piece of art. So as a nail technician, why you're even like, posting those things like, oh, like how she's going to, do this and that. As a nail technician yourself, you should know this is just, for the cover. And the cover magazines, they always go for these crazy things and everything. So, I don't know. I just like, just brand yourself in a way you would like to introduce yourself to people. So you have to be consistent with everything you're doing. And that also includes your logo, because for some people, branding is a logo. It's not just a logo. Logo is just a small piece. We are actually inside the Nail Experts Club, like last month, because it's November already. We were actually covering the branding, so that was great as well. So you need to really know how your logo looks like. You need to be consistent with posting on social media and what you are posting. And it's not only, you need to give a personality to your branding, because if you just keep posting nails only, people don't really see who you are, and people like to know the other person who's posting it. So you need to allow yourself to let them to know you a little bit more. So just be you, just instead of posting pictures of nails only, you can also add like, some things like personal things, but good and positive things. That there is so much negativity out there, just don't add anymore. Just post something nice. Or even like, just ask people questions about the things you like. I'm obsessed with Macs, and I love like, all the stationery stuff and everything. So I just like, I use this. And I also love quotes. I absolutely love quotes. Like the more positive, the better. And people like that as well, and they can relate, So that's branding, what it's all about. It's not necessarily like, like posting from time to time and not really having like any color scheme or any like, fonts, because that's also so important. Do you have a website? Even if you don't have a website, but you have a social media profile, you have to make sure it looks professional. Like, even if you can't do like the banner, for example, if you can't do it yourself, there are so many people out there who will do it for you like really, really cheaply. So just go out there and ask, and it's not going to cost you a fortune, but it may change like your business dramatically. And one important thing, with the banner, like with the Facebook banner, you really have to think about it as your free advertising spot, and think about that as a window shop, because so many people, they just go and post a picture of nails there. If I went to your page, if I see just a picture of the nails, like what it tells me, like, okay, she's doing nails and that's it. I may scroll down a little bit, but that's it. I won't be really hooked. I won't be interested. So just think about the banner as your window shop. Like, what would you add on the window? You would like to have your logo on. You would like to have some information of what you are doing in your salon. You would have some contact information, and maybe like, opening time, right? Right. So that's what you have to do on your Facebook as well. Like a logo or just like picture of nails is just not good enough. Okay. So remember, people, when they go on Facebook, they spend around like 3 to 5 seconds. If you won't grab their attention with that, in click, they will be gone and they will go somewhere else, because Facebook is huge and there is so much interesting information. So just be sure to grab their attention and give them the information they're looking for instantly. So honestly, use that Facebook banner. And if you go and change only this part, I can tell you this is going to make a huge difference for your business.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree with that. I just recently got, like just last week, got message from Scratch Magazine. It would be my first time, and they asked if I'd be interested in doing a Q&A with them, and I was like, absolutely. Anytime you get to do that. And so with that, I asked, like, what is it that drew you to me? Like, I'm not even in your area. And they said they kept noticing my picture coming up, and that they just saw my face. So on my banner, I changed the banner because I make it fun, and I always have my picture true to who I am. It's not a glamour shot. It's not me from 10 years ago. It's actually me from a couple months ago, posed on the back of my chair with some pose, and I captured a real picture of me. And so they said they liked my profile, that it was clean, and they liked my nail art. And you never know what people are going to see and capture, what it is that's going to be there. But definitely have your profile and everything about your page your best you, free of the negativity. And it's amazing how many more people you'll attract to you. And then once they get to know you, they know that that's really is you. It's just not your fake illusion of who you are. And likewise with the pictures that I post, they are real. Some of the cuticles are not the best cuticles just because that's how they were presented to me. I did my best at that time. I don't go in and Photoshop my pictures, so therefore I don't have an illusion that the work is different. And so it's the best part of me. And that's the best that I can do, and it gets noticed. And you never know who's watching your profiles and your pages, and gonna get you to that next step.
As well with my blog, because I've kind of neglected my blog, I must admit. But there was a time I was adding like a weekly blog post, a new blog post, and then through that I've been posted like in Scratch magazines, in Nails magazine, because they just like they didn't go and find you, because obviously magazines, they need to be publishing something, and they always looking for something fresh and something new and interesting. So you never know. And the better you position yourself out there, I'm not saying just don't try to pretend being someone who you're really not, but really position yourself, meaning if I was going to meet you, just try to sell me your best self, try to sell me what you're doing in the best possibly way. And this is how you should be thinking about social media as well. Just trying to attract people by showing them your best, what you can do. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like I said, I hate word perfect. There's no such thing, but it has to be like your best shot. That's it.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So speaking of getting published and stuff, and you've been published in magazines, for some reason, my profile must be out there with the right people, because I've been published recently this year twice, and I'm getting ready to be republished again in Nails magazine and then again in Scratch magazine in just a couple months. And I don't know, sometimes I just notice in my career I have a wave line where everything is just going so good, and then sometimes it's quiet for a little bit, and then I can refocus and kind of, I don't know, master something else, something unique. And then I think it's because I get excited and I post it more, then I go back on that peak again. And so do you have any tips of what you use to be able to get published?
The best thing is it really depends if you want to have your work published or if you want to have your article published. That's kind of slightly different things. If you want to have your nails published, just send your images. It's simple as that. Just go on the page of Scratch magazine or Nails magazine, find the details, find the email address, and just send your work. And just add them this is what I did recently. You might be interested in posting it. And that's it. It's honestly, It's simple as that. If you don't ask, you will never know. So just don't be afraid to go and ask. It's simple as that. It's not complicated at all. With the articles, it's the same. You might like, because they also have like the editorials. So they've got plan for the whole year. Okay, this month we are writing about this, next month we are writing about that, and so on. So and it's I think it's public as well. So if you go on the site and you will go to the editorials, you will see which particular month, what they're going to be writing about. If you've got something interesting to say, just again, reach to them and just ask them, would you like me to write something? Or if you have something written already, just send it over. And like, here, this is my article, I wrote it down, or this is my blog post. You may be interested in publishing this. There's no danger in asking. The worst scenario, they may say no. That's it. Yeah. You're not going to die. You're not going to get hurt. Just go and ask, obviously. I know so many people just probably they're trying to make it too complicated, but it's just as simple as that. Honestly, go and ask. Go and ask.
So Catherine from Nails Magazine, she's an assistant editor. I asked her last week and I said, hey, do you have any ideas? Are hashtags working? What out there are you really looking for? And she goes, everything. We want you guys to hashtag us. We want you to submit things to us. We want to be fresh in what's in the new, and we want real nail techs. We don't always want competition nails or ad looking nails. They want working true nails. And so your nails don't have to be long. They can be short, just crisp and clean and simple sometimes even. So even if you have your best French manicure that you've done, submit it in and just see what happens.
Absolutely. And this is actually like, what you said previously, that even if you're doing just natural nails, I think this is actually one of the best things you should do for yourself. You should stop trying to be good at everything, because when you're trying to be good at everything, you are good at nothing. You should really go and focus on one, maybe two particular things you really are like, excited about. Because for me, that would be shapes and structure. I'm obsessed, like completely. And this is why I'm sticking to it. Like, I like nail art, but this is my second place, So with you as well. And I always used to say, like, just think about that. For me, like, if I have problem with my skin, with my face, for example, then of course I can go to GP, like, the doctor, like the general practitioner, or I can go to dermatologist. And who of those will give me better advice? Of course, the dermatologist. That's why you have to be the dermatologist. You have to try to specialize in, like, in smaller area. Do not try to master everything, because it will never, ever happen. Just really stick to something and be amazing at it. Honestly, you don't have to try to do everything.
Yes. And as you would say, be consistent.
Yes, absolutely. There's actually a question if you want to take. Hi, both. Can you tell me, what is it? Can you tell me what e-file you both use? Do you use e-file?
I do. So, oh gosh. Okay, so I'm aging myself yet again. So when I first got in the industry, OPI had an amazing e-file, and I used that until 1 year ago. So no joke, I had the e-file for about 23 years. They don't even make e-files anymore. So when my handset wasn't working, I messaged them and said, do you have, like, can I buy a new handset or something? And they're like, we haven't made e-files in years. So I didn't know where to go. I really honestly wanted to try Coupa. I looked at all their videos, and then I was like, gosh, I really want to try, this company. So the one that has kind of won me over, I tried many different kinds. I found that I needed a weighted e-file. I needed one that was all metal, which was what I had used for years. The plastic ones are too lightweight for me. And I noticed that sometimes they would vibrate in my hand. So I needed one that was smooth. I needed one that fit my hand. So you really have to maybe try different ones. Maybe purchase it, because you're going to have to spend the money in the beginning. Purchase it, try it. If it's not for you, send it back. Don't keep it. So I don't really like to name brand a whole lot, but I am going to put this out there. The one that I'm using is called Medicool. and it's just a small one. It's not cordless, like some of the new ones are coming out. It can go forward, back, all the different lengths, all the different speeds. But the reason why I like this one is it's weighted for my hand, it fits my hand, and I don't get the vibration, and I get great results from it. And so it might be trial and error of trying out a few different e-files to see what's best for you, but do it, because in the long haul, if you find the one that's best and it's going to last and you get warranties on it, you're going to be able to have it for years, like what I did with my last one.
Yeah, totally. I've been using mine for like 10 years as well, like a really long time. And but mine's I'm not even sure if they still have them or not. Mine was called Marathon, and I'm not really sure, like, if it's any specific brand or something. But I got it such a long time ago, I can't even remember. But it was called Marathon. But the one you've showed, I've when I was in Emirates, the Arab Emirates, teaching others, I've been using the same drill as you have, and I absolutely loved it. And especially, like, it's just portable, so you can just take it, like, I think they probably had, like, because yours not really portable, or is it?
Yeah,
Is it
I can take it with
wireless?
me. Mhm.
Is it wireless or not?
No, it's not cordless, so it's not portable like that. But compared to my old big box with the foot pedal, this one's a lot more portable than that.
Yeah, sure. So the other one, it must be probably, like, a newer model or something. So I just absolutely love that. But like you said, absolutely, yeah, just go and try, because you just need to find the one will which will really fit your hand, and yeah, it's going to be great. There was another question. Louise said she would love to work on the competitions. Yes, the training, competition training, I think it's like, if you are serious about going out there and really do any competitions, I think you should go and do the training. Louise, again, any training in Ireland? That would be
I
tough.
can't, yeah, I can't help you on there. I don't know of any of
I
those.
can't really think. Oh, there is one person, but what's her name? Uh, Emma. Emma, I can't remember now, but if I get the name, I will just post it here as well, because she's the winner then, and I know she will do well. Emma, oh, can't remember, but I will post her name later on. Okay, I think, Amy, that was for you. What hashtags can I use to reach out to you? Sorry, I just came in.
So I'm completely new to hashtags. Honestly, I perfected what I would call as my Facebook part of it first. I had an Instagram, but I never made it really that public. I think I had one picture on there from a competition that I did like 2 years ago. But because I wanted to not get myself too brought out there, I wanted to hone in and just make one really active. And then, so because there's different qualities that different social medias have. So, like with the Instagram, hashtags were very, very popular with that. And it was more of your profile, like your advertising part. But the personal side of it, people had more in Facebook, where you can have a conversation. You had your hours, you had your banner at your top, you had even your phone number to contact you. And so I decided what was going to be best for me at the time was to focus on my Facebook part. And at that time, Facebook hashtags did not work. So now that I've linked my website and YouTubes and Instagrams and all this stuff, I've been slowly educating myself out there. Now it's time for me to focus in on the hashtags. So in our groups, we talk about hashtags a lot, like which ones do you use? They're endless. And one of the lives that I did a week ago with Becky is Becky said that every now and then on her hashtags, if there's something big going on in her area, she'll take like the best nails that she's done and she'll hashtag it. So like where I live, there would be like a big mountain run, and she'll just so happen to be that she'll hashtag it that. So when people search the big mountain run, her nails show up just magically in there. And so hashtags are endless. And if you haven't used a hashtag, go in and Google and hit hashtag nails, and then just do a regular Google of nails, and you'll see a humongous difference. The marketing of hashtag is bigger than just a general search, and so therefore it's also more detailed in your search, and so it's working. I don't have my go-to hashtags yet. I'm still working on that.
But I think it's the same like with Facebook, you know, and you like Facebook ads. People go out there, they try Facebook ads, they don't really have much result because they're not really sure how to do it. And it's like, oh, it's not working. No, it's not working. It's just like you don't know how to make it work. That's the difference. So it's the same like with the hashtags. You just I think it's like, you know, try and error. You just need to go and really see. But like you said, like you really need to go out there and look for the events in your area and or what's relevant to your area. You may even like, you know, hashtag like other salons as well. It's kind of like, you know, stepping on a foot of someone else's, but as long as you're not doing it like, you know, too much, I think it would be fine. Or you may find like, you know, non-competitive places, for example, like I don't know, like fashion, no, not fashion, like clothes shops or like coffee shops and stuff like that. You may hashtag them and then like, you know, do vice versa, they will be hashtagging you as well. So like non-competitive places are absolutely great in your area, because obviously this is where you want to get people from. You don't want to get people from UK if you're not in UK, you know. But even UK is just like, you just need one specific area, you know, or city. So yeah, just go and try. Honestly, try until you die. This is when I heard someone else, you know, years ago, and I absolutely loved it because it's honestly just do it.
Yeah.
Right. There's another question. Where do we submit our work? I think that was the question about the images and the blog posts and everything. So you would probably, it really depends in which magazine you are interested in. If you are interested in Nails magazine, for example, you would need to go on their page and then just look for the like contact information, and then you will see a huge list of people who you can contact to, and you will see like, you know, the editors, you will see like creative people, and there's such a huge list, and you can just go and see like, you know, what they're going to be writing about each particular month, and just take it from there. That's the easiest way to do it, honestly. Or you can go on Facebook and you can see on Facebook, but do not message them on Facebook, because please remember, they probably have like, you know, someone else to take care of their page. They're not doing it themselves. So email is always the best thing to do it.
So just quickly, I'm not able to find it. It is so worth to subscribe to the different magazines. There's so many of them out there as well. I just did learn that some of them won't mail to me in the United States because the postage is too much, but then they have their online edition as well. So like Nail Art Gallery has a huge online marketing, and so there's even online magazines that you can subscribe to. Usually within the first few pages of the magazines, it will give you a list of who the editors are and who to submit into. And so read your magazines, or if you're online, read those online editions, because they're there and they're putting that out there because they want you to use that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, when you think about it, it's a win-win situation, because you want to be published and they need to have something to publish. So it's a win-win. It's not like, you know, you're trying to and pushing them, just look at me. It's not like that. Like, you just need to take that away from your head. And the sooner you do it, the easier it's going to be.
Yeah. So any of you viewers out there, here's your challenge. We want you to submit even something you've already done. Just submit it in. And if you get a response from them, you have to message us and let us know that you even got a response. Then when you get published, you need to tell us, I did it and I got published. I personally want to know if what we're talking about is working, because it's worked for us. And I've seen it work for other people in my salons. I've seen it work for other techs that I've worked with. And I'm confident in the system, and I want to see it work for you too. So you have to let us know how it works for you as well.
I love it. I love it, because now the other thing is like, you know, knowing one thing and doing the thing is that's two different stories. So now you know what to do. Now it's just the matter of really doing it and just getting yourself out there, and don't be scared. Or even if you are scared, this is even better. Just go and do it, and then like your comfort zone will stretch so much that this is never going to be uncomfortable anymore, and you'll be just so fine with it. So yeah, just go and do it.
Yes, those milestones that we have to learn along the way, and then you get more and more comfortable with it as you go. Is there more questions?
No, I can't see for now. Okay, I'll try. I would love to get published. Yes, go and do, please. Honestly, it's
Yes,
easy.
please.
Obviously, we are like, disclaimer. We are not saying that everything you are going to submit to them is going to be published. This is not what we're saying here. However, it's that there's no danger in trying, honestly, because they're always looking for something new to write about, because how many times you can write about acrylic,
Yeah. And likewise with that, where I'm not talking even just limiting yourself to the nail magazines, style magazines. Oh my goodness, if you show your nails of cooking with a wisp or something like that, turn it into that. I mean, submit it into any publication that you're passionate about, that fits you, to once again showcase your best self.
Absolutely. And it doesn't, even if you want to take it a step further, you can just set up like a proper photo shoot, and you can have a model, you can have a makeup artist, you can have a hairdresser, and you don't have to do nothing crazy with nails, but just whatever fits your style. And then just ask other magazines, as having a photo done professionally, it's going to open up so many other doors that you wouldn't really think of. Just go and do it, and then submit to other magazines, like Amy said. It just for if you want to have probably, I would say, if you want to be taken a little bit more seriously, in other magazines, that would need to be done professionally. So then you will have better chances to actually be published there. But it's worth trying. And even if they are not going to publish it, you can just go and create your amazing portfolio through this. And yeah, it's again, you'll have clients seeing this, and it's like, oh my goodness, So there's always good ways to get clients through the door and to get your name out there. And this is one of those. Yeah. Samantha asked, what eyelashes? What e-files? What e-files? We've already discussed that. What e-files you both use or would recommend? We already discussed the e-files. Yes. Yes.
Well, Ella, I could talk for days with you, and I love it. I don't know how long we've been on, because our timing got a little bit off when we were trying to connect, but I wrote notes, and we've covered all the notes except for one question that I thought would be fun to ask you. But before then, do you have anything else that you would like to add?
Well, I don't really know. If you just one thing, if you want to just go, and if you ever wanted to have a training with me, there is a huge option now, because with the masterclass, we have the doors open till midnight today, which is going to be in around 4 hours. So this is the masterclass program, the online one. So if you are interested in joining in, the doors are still open. You can go and learn. If not, you may be interested, in getting one of the books, like the Nail Shapes and Structure Compendium, probably, if you are struggling with the shapes and structure, because this is going to really help, because I've put everything I know into this book. But there's no pressure. There's no pressure, obviously. If you are interested, then you may go out and check it. But I would really say, whoever's trying to get the name out there, honestly, consistency. Again, that's the word, consistency. You have to be consistent, and you have to be a stubborn donkey, honestly. If something's not working once, just try a different approach and just do it. If this is not working, again, try a different approach and try to do it from different angle. There's no such thing as something's not working, okay? It only means that you have not figured out the way to make it work. So just keep trying, and you'll get there. And the nail industry is amazing. On one hand, it's very competitive, but on the other hand, this cake is big enough for everyone. Honestly, you have your place out there. You just need to find that place, and you need to put your foot down. You have to be like Elsa. You just need to stand there, and you need to create your glass kingdom. This is what you need to do.
Oh, I love it so much. Okay, so Ella, I have one final question for you. If you could do nails on any celebrity out there, who would you choose?
This is a tough one, because there's so many people I already admire. Honestly, it probably depends in which area, but if it was celebrity, I would, Celine Dion. That would be her, because I absolutely love her. I'm a huge fan, and I love her voice, and I love what she's doing, and I really love what she's representing. Obviously now she's a widow, but for her, like family was number one, and she's such a successful person, but she never lost that kind of like touch that what is important to her, because obviously career is important, but family family was always number one, and I really admire that. Plus, admire her voice. She's amazing. So, but having said that, I'm not sure even if I was able to do it, because I probably try to imagine doing nails for Celine Dion. That would be like, oh my god. But I would love to. I would love to meet her, and I would love to do it. Yes.
Absolutely. I like your choice. She's a great inspiration, as you are as well. So, Ella, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for your husband for getting us behind the scenes, trying to get us connected on here today. We had to go a roundabout way. So we were late, and we apologize for that. This live will continue to replay in our news feed. And if you have any questions or you want to make any comments under that, you're more than welcome to, because we'll be able to see that and be able to make some additional commenting as well. And then as for Heather and the admin group that I have with Nail Techs Helping Nail Techs, I thank you so much for the opportunity for us to be able to go live and to be able to share what I call nerdy nail knowledge, because I've accumulated a lot over the years. Some of it's good, some of it's bad. What I like is that some of the trends are coming back around, so I kind of feel like I'm an expert already in some of them, because I've already been through that trend and I've already troubleshooted it. But now with technology and products, we're able to refine it and make it even better. And so with all of that, I thank you, Ella, for going live, and I thank you all for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, and you guys as well. Just keep doing your thing, and honestly, keep pushing, honestly. You'll get there. Be Elsa. Thank you so much, Amy, for having me.
Thank you very much.
Take care. Bye.